welcome to you. Many thanks for joining us on the program this week. Remain your source for all the latest happenings in the world of business. My name is Lucy Lugbe. Welcome to the show. On our lineup this week, first we join Faith and our guest, the legendary Professor Joe Iruku, SAN, insurance guru, author, and a lawyer of repute, on the CEO Rendezvous for a rerun of the exclusive interview where they discuss this topic, an overview of the Nigerian insurance industry. Speaking during the interview, Professor Iruku said that it is unfair to criticize the insurance industry in isolation as regarding the implementation of the compulsory insurances, as every other aspect of our laws are not also implemented. Take a listen.
Can you tell me any one aspect of our national life that is doing well, where you can say the law is being obeyed and is being properly regulated? If you tell me one, then I'll show you that insurance is one of the few where anything at all is being done. So I don't want to criticize the insurance industry in isolation. Every aspect of our national life is suffering. It's gone down.
On this edition also, we will bring you highlights from the 6th National Conference of the National Association of Insurance and Pension Correspondents, NAIPCO, that took place recently at the Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island, here in Lagos, under the theme, COVID-19 Impact on Financial Inclusion, Opportunities for Insurance and Pension Sectors. As expected, the insurance and pension sectors were well represented at the conference. Let's check out some excerpts from the event.
If you are serious about your life, if you understand that everything we do, at least as of now, if you want your life to continue to advance, you need to plan for yourself. That's why both insurance and pension is something we should all embrace as Nigerians. Because like I said, as of today, unfortunately the social security system in Nigeria is next to zero.
I want to thank NAIPCO again and congratulate them and solicit again your assistance in reportage. NAIPCO has been excellent in reporting especially pension issues. You have also helped to bridge that knowledge gap because there is a lot of knowledge gap, especially as it relates to the pension issue. It's amazing that even very educated people that you expect to know some very basic things about, especially how the contributory pension scheme works, you will be surprised at that knowledge gap. NAIPCO has been consistent in reporting the issues and activities relating to the pension industry, and we urge you to please do more and help us.
Task ahead, especially in the insurance industry, is more. And there's no way we can achieve that without your collaboration, without you really helping to make sure the job at hand is done. The focal point of the commissioner is on market development, how to develop the market. We all know what the market looks like today, and the challenges has always been people are not even aware what insurance is. You don't know this. A lot of people are not people where they have to be from our topic of the day. Look at what we are all looking at, financial inclusion. How can we do that? Financial inclusion can only be to the downtrodden people. And in doing that, it has to be on information. And that's the job we are all challenged to do.
These plus all the other extras are what we have lined up for your viewing pleasure today. What more can I say than to urge you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the package. Details in just a moment. Please stay with us.
A very warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure to have you join us on set today. I must say I'm sitting one-on-one with a legend. He's an author. He's a man of many parts. He's a guru when it comes to the insurance business or insurance matters generally. a lawyer of note. I'm talking of no other than Professor Joe Iruku, SAN, who is our guest on the program today. Thank you so very much, Prof.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Prof, you are among the pioneers of this industry, insurance industry in Nigeria.
Yes.
Looking back to when you people started the business of insurance and where the industry is today, what is your assessment?
Well, first of all, you know, I believe in the truth. And I believe in the Christian saying that the truth will make you free. So, if you ask me any question, the only thing I think of is to say it as I know it and as I remember, as I see it as the truth. I think, on balance, we have made some progress in some areas, and we have suffered a decline in some areas. When we started in insurance, shortly after independence, in 1960, insurance in Nigeria was not as sophisticated as it is today. The only classes of insurance business that were dominant in those days were accident, fire, motor, life, and the traditional types of insurance. Our aviation insurance was virtually non-existent because most of it was done abroad. Marine insurance, in the big sense, was very limited. But right now, the industry has grown. With industrialization and urbanization and so on, insurance has increased. But when it comes to professional expertise, the science of insurance, we have made a lot of progress. But the only thing that pains me, in the early days of insurance, the market was dominated by foreigners, mostly expatriates, British and American expatriates from Europe and America. There were very few professionals in insurance who were indigenous. The first insurance brokers that were in Nigeria were Bayo Braithwaite and Tony Odogwu. They did very well. Unfortunately, with time, with the help of these pioneers, we have succeeded in getting more of our people involved in insurance. But we also introduced the negative aspects of our political economy into the business. When I came into insurance shortly after independence in 1962, I was the first African insurance lawyer with expertise in insurance. And the result was that we started teaching. And at that time, I don't think there were so many Nigerians who were experts in insurance. So we started training Nigerians. The result now is that virtually 90% of the insurance industries run by Nigerians, unlike when it was what it was at the beginning. So the situation has changed in that respect, but the ownership has also changed. So from a market, if you read one of my books, I said that there was no indigenous participation in the management and in decision making of the industry. At that time, there was what they used to call Nigerian Insurance Association. And the only Nigerians in the thing were myself, not because of right. My general manager was George Fox, because he wasn't interested in the politics of insurance. He used to send me to represent him. And so the only person who was there out of 19 members who was a Nigerian was myself and Braithwaite. And Braithwaite had African Alliance, which he was the chief executive. So when I decided that I was going to write a book, at that time we were introducing insurance as a subject for university lectures in Unilag. And I was one of the lecturers. So I came in, and one distinguished professor in London University who had been sent as a Commonwealth scholar to go and teach, help to teach in Unilag, said to me that he's listening to my lectures in this. There's no book in this. Why don't I write a book? I told him I've never written a book before. He said, there's nothing. If you can write a good letter, you can write a book. So he harassed my life so much, so I decided to write my first book, which is Insurance Law and Practice in Nigeria. And it turned out to be successful. Everybody started using it. The judges in the courts, everywhere, insurance companies. Then I was lecturing for the industry, teaching students insurance and so on. And that's how I started writing. And when you write the first book, the second book is so easy to write because you form the habit of writing.
Okay, Prof, let's look at regulation of the industry today. It's a lot more stringent than one would say it used to be in the early days.
Yes.
But would you say that has translated into better performance and overall growth of the insurance industry?
Regulation of insurance was good. I was one of those who advocated. When we came in, there was no regulation. I remember in 1972, we went to Mauritius. The first African Insurance Conference was held in Mauritius in 1972. The countries that were least regulated, French-speaking countries, there was no regulation. They didn't bother to regulate. They just copied what was operating in the French speaking countries. And then Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and the worst was Liberia, because I remember that Liberia was represented by one of our friends. He was an black American, and he was representing Liberia. They asked him what is the summary of the insurance regulation? We don't regulate anything. We have nothing. He says, we're just free. You come, you establish your company, and you make your rules. But to some extent, Nigeria and Ghana and Sierra Leone were slightly regulated. So the situation was that we started really regulating insurance in 1961 when we passed the Insurance Act, 1961, and the Marine Insurance Act. But now, from a situation where we were not regulated, now we have a situation where we are over-regulated. Any insurance commissioner that comes takes the opportunity to change the laws. In the past, we didn't have rules and regulations. Everybody just did what they liked. Some crooks who came into insurance to make money were quite happy with the no regulation. But from no regulation, we now have over-regulation.
Okay, Prof. Insurance laws cannot be mentioned without you, of course, at the center. So let's look at insurance laws in Nigeria. They've been reviewed over the years, giving rise to compulsory insurances,
yes,
with stipulated sanctions and all that. But implementation has always been a major challenge, even on the part of government. Why do you think this is so?
If you ask any lawyer in Nigeria about the state of any aspect of our law, they will say the same thing. Unfortunately, as a developing nation, Nigeria has not done as well as we expect. Unfortunately, we're not regulating properly, and sometimes we emphasize the wrong things. Looking at the whole state of the laws of Nigeria in every aspect, insurance hasn't done too badly. We've done fairly well, but there's still a lot of room for improvement.
Okay, Prof, what you talk about, let's say the compulsory insurances for example, you find that in almost all the 36 states of the Federation, you hear incidents in the building collapse, a whole lot of stuff. And these laws are there in the books for implementation. Nobody is implementing. Even government that is the one that gives the law, so to speak, they are not also obeying the law. What can the insurance industry do to get government to be on board when it comes to implementation of some of these insurance, compulsory insurance?
Can you tell me any one aspect of our national life that is doing well, where you can say the law is being obeyed and is being properly regulated? If you tell me one, then I'll show you that insurance is one of the few where anything at all is being done. So I don't want to criticize the insurance industry in isolation. Every aspect of our national life is suffering. It's gone down. I don't know if you agree.
Yes.
So it's the same everywhere. So yes, certainly we have done as well, but at least we've tried in insurance.
All right, welcome back. Moving on, we now bring you highlights from the 6th annual NAIPCO conference that was recently held at the Oriental Hotel. Guest speaker was Mrs. Folashade Ononuga, former Director General of the Lagos State Pension Commission, LASPEC. According to her, it is not just enough to grow pension assets. The funds must be made accessible to the contributors as at when due to add value to their lives. Happy viewing.
The National Association of Insurance and Pension Correspondents, NAIPCO, is the umbrella association of all journalists and reporters covering insurance and pension bits in the print and electronic media in Nigeria. The association recently put together its 6th national conference with the theme COVID-19 Impact on Financial Inclusion, Opportunities for Insurance and Pension Sectors at the Oriental Hotel, Lagos. Guest speaker was Mrs. Folashade Ononuga, former Director General of the Lagos State Pension Commission, LASPEC, while chairman was Prince Feishayo Shoyewo, chairman, chief executive, Prestige Insurance Brokers Limited. As expected, stakeholders in insurance and pension sectors were well represented at the event. Welcoming guests and colleagues to the conference, the chairman of NAIPCO, Mr. Chuks Udo Okonta, said that the annual conference is part of the association objective to push development in the sectors they cover.
One main objective which we have is to embark on developmental journalism. That's by building on the legacies we met on ground and to retweak and also add further values. This conference, which is 6th in its edition, is one of the avenues that we leverage to contribute our quota to the growth and development of these two critical sectors which we represent, which are insurance and pension. Today, we as journalists are not only watching and reporting, but participating actively in reshaping these two sectors, and we are actually contributing to propelling the growth of these sectors.
In his brief remarks, the chairman of the occasion, Prince Shoyewo, stated that the pandemic have led to a paradigm shift in business operations across the globe.
I told him that many individuals and operators have taken the whole pandemic experience as an opportunity for a paradigm shift in all their undertakings. It has led to retooling of operational strategies by corporate institutions, leading to higher profitability and easier ways of doing things virtually and getting results. Most meetings today are virtual meetings, courtesy of COVID-19. And we have saved ourselves a lot through virtual meetings. Some offices, they no longer open fully for one-on-one relationship. And they're still doing their business, they're still making their money. We must all come to terms with the fact that change is the only permanent thing in life. And those who are resistant to change will be changed by change ultimately.
Delivering the theme paper of the conference, the guest speaker, Mrs. Onanuga, stated that financial inclusion can only be achieved when a need is met.
What do we mean by financial inclusion? Financial inclusion is achieved when the adult Nigerian has access to affordable financial products and services that meet their needs. The critical thing is meeting a need. So, financial inclusion will only be achieved, and I'm emphatic about this, where financial transactions, where financial processes and documentations are transparent, simplified, and most importantly, meeting a need. People will embrace a product where they know it satisfies a need. And truly, if you look at the insurance business, it's a business that caters for the unforeseen, the unexpected. So if it's a need that you must continue in business, then that means you need to take up insurance. In the event of sudden occurrences like the pandemic, you need to be back on your feet. In the event of you finding that because of the pandemic, if a breadwinner suddenly dies, there must be a buffer to ensure that the family values, the family does not disintegrate. And so more than ever before, you find out that we actually need both insurance and pension products to ensure that we continue to live. It meets our needs of sustenance, it meets our needs of wealthy living, healthy living, and of course, continuity in business.
The high point of the conference was the panel discussion. Panelists were Mrs. Amaka Andy Azike, MD CEO Fidelity Pension Limited, Mr. Kasmir Azuike, MD CEO Afri Global Insurance Brokers Limited, Mrs. Folashade Onanuga, Prince Feishayo Shoyewo, Mr. Oguche Aguda, MD CEO Penop, and Mrs. Margaret Moore, Mega Trust Insurance Brokers Limited. In her contribution during the panel discussion, Mrs. Azike said that it is advisable for active workers to embrace additional voluntary contribution to their pension funds.
What we're advising is that those that are still working now should embrace what we call additional voluntary contribution. Because if you rely on your normal deductions and the contribution from your company, by the time you retire, it may not be enough to foot the kind of lifestyle you have cultivated. It is what you put that you will get, although investment income, I can tell you, has also increased. However, the principal sum, if you check your retirement account statement, for instance, you will see that what you have accumulated in terms of investment income is even much higher in some cases than your principal. So we encourage more savings while you're still active. Do not cash it out. Because at the time you become very old, you need to buy your drugs. I mean, as you're ill, you need to buy, go to the club and take a wine or something. Minimum lifestyle maintenance without relying on anybody. So that's the idea. We do not encourage anybody to cash out. Otherwise, the whole end will be defeated.
The annual NAIPCO award this year went to Wyker Reinsurance Corporation PLC for their giant strides in corporate social responsibility.
On behalf of NAIPCO, I present you this emblem, sign of honor to you and to Waikari, to you on behalf of your MD and to Waikari for making us proud from all corners in Nigeria, here in West Africa, in Africa, and especially for supporting NAIPCO at all times. Congratulations.
The annual NAIPCO conference is gradually becoming a reputable platform for intellectual exchanges for stakeholders in insurance and pension sectors in Nigeria.
That's our time on the program this week. Many thanks for being with us. Join us again, same time, same station next week for a fresh package. In the meantime, feel free as always to connect with us on all our social media platforms. There is a lot for you to see on our YouTube channel, Almond Finance TV. Just like and subscribe. My name is Lucy Lube. Enjoy our parting shot this week. A very useful advice for retirees. Enjoy. Bye-bye.
Don't go into retirement with loans. Me, I'm a retiree and I've seen it, and I've seen retirees. Because when you go into retirement with the loans, first of all, you don't have the money to pay. Yet the person, if it's mortgage, he wants to be paid immediately. So when you have a loan, it becomes very difficult for you to pay. And the fourth thing that I tell people, before you retire, start some business of your choice. Because when you retirement, you have a lot of time. Okay? You find that you have a lot of time to yourself. You need something to do on a day-to-day basis.